Well, it's biryani time. I cooked some rice this morning, like I showed on the video. This has just been put on a tray and cooled in, well, just cooled for half an hour and then put in the fridge. It clumps a little bit, but because it's cold, as you move it, it breaks up very easily. So that's the rice. So I've got my pan on. I'm using a wok just because I'm using a fair quantity of rice. I think you need a big pan to stop it going everywhere, and you know what I'm like. So to get going, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of ghee, or you could just use a rapeseed oil to the pan. But the ghee does give it a nice flavour, to be fair. So that's in there straight away. Let's get that melting. While that's melting, I'll show you. We always go in Indian cooking hard spices first. So I've got half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. I've got about 4 cardamom pods, the green ones, and I've also got 3 cloves. I've just got it all prepped so it's just easier, because otherwise it just becomes a bit of a nightmare doing it all. So just to make it simplistic, I'll kind of go through as I'm going what I've been doing. So they're going to go in, and they're going to sizzle away for about, I'll give them a little stir. It's on high heat. So just to get it going, I'm going to give that a stir and sizzle for about 30 seconds or so. All that you're doing with that is once the hard spices go in, it wakes them up, it gets them to release some of the oils, and it starts to perfume things. I'm going to have to put the fan on a touch. Now I can see they're starting to smoke, and I don't want them to burn, I just want them to release the oils. So there's 1 onion, fairly finely chopped. And basically, that's just going to go in, and that's going to sweat down now for about 3, 4, 5 minutes. All we're looking for, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Just get yourself a little. Whoop, there we go. I'll tell you what, I'm causing disaster already. Right, where are we? Are we there? Are you back? Yeah, just a little cloth, just to keep yourself nice and clean. So in the meantime, let's whisk through the ingredients. So keep it clean and tidy. Let's move out of the way. So I know where I'm at, I know what I'm doing. So that's on high heat, and I'm going to keep it on high heat because I want those to sweat down. It needs to release some of the moisture. And just to help it out a touch, and like I say, I like the seasoning layers, the onions are going to get a little sprinkle of salt. No pepper, because we've got plenty of spices going in there. So really all I'm interested in, to be fair, is just salt with this dish. So that's doing its thing. Like I say, don't be frightened. You think, oh, well, that's a lot of oil, that's a lot of ghee. Don't be frightened of that, because what you've got to be kind of conscious of, whenever you're using, like in Indian food, spices and things like that, what happens is the powders and things that you put in suck up on any oil straight away, and it's kind of the process. The powders actually act as a bit of a, obviously, flavour, but thickening as well. So the oil will absorb into those, but it's a part of Indian cooking, so just don't worry about it. If you don't like it, just salads. I'll do some salads. Anyway, so this is doing its thing. So the next thing I'm going to do, we talked about in the earlier part, is garlic ginger paste. So I've done, to go with this, a Madras sauce. Now I'll do that a different day, possibly, but I've blitzed up some garlic and ginger, so I had enough for both dishes. So that's a tablespoon in there. Once that's gone translucent, that's going to go in. So it's getting there. It's looking all nice. It's just make sure it's actually on there. With it being induction, you've got to make sure it's right on the ring, otherwise it just it doesn't work as well as it does. So in with that. Once we've kind of gone in with that, we're going to start adding, right, what we're going to do next after the onion. Yeah, ginger pepper, yeah, that's what we're going to do next. Basically what I do is I put everything in order. So I like to do it in the order I'm going to put the ingredients in. So basically I would have thought, yeah, anyway, forget all that. So basically the next thing I'm going to do, after I've done this, because the onions are starting to sweat right down now. I don't want any colour. So let's get that in for 30 seconds or so. And I cooked 2 chicken breasts and they're just being cut up into little cubes, not overcooked, nice and soft, nice and tender. Like I say, I always make sure, don't overcook your chicken. So that doesn't take long. 30 seconds, in with our chicken. That's good. Get rid of our bowl and just get that start to warm up in there. Brilliant, that's all we need. In with our chicken. Now the next thing I've got 3 tablespoons, but I think if you think I'm looking down, I'm actually referring to the recipe because I don't want to get it wrong. I've got, what is it? 70, not 70 grams. I'm sure it's 3 tablespoons. Hang on, let me just refer here. I haven't even got the glasses on, have I? There we go. Yeah, I was right. 3 tablespoons of tomato puree. Like I say, I'm using the passata. But you can, if you are pushed, just use your get rid of the things, get it nice and clean. If you're pushed, 10 of tomatoes, whiz it up with a tablespoon or so of tomato puree. So that's gone in there. And basically we're creating a base for our rice to go in. So that's what we're doing. So that's in there. I'm just going to give that as a minute or so. I just want everything to start going. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a tablespoon of our mixed spice. Now I've done this before, so there's actually a video of me making this. If not, there's a video of the curry powder I've made. You could use that. If not, you can use shop bought curry powder. But I'm just saying I've done it for you there. So that's going in. And also half a teaspoon of turmeric powder straight in. Don't touch it, otherwise you get yellow fingers. So that's going in for a minute or so. Let's get that in there, doing its thing. Now let me just point out that this is actually a quick biryani. So normally, I'm just going to get rid of this. With a biryani dish, you'd layer it up and you kind of cook it in layers. So for you purists out there who know what a biryani is, I understand that this is not an authentic one. But this is kind of using it basically like a restaurant method. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn that down. Now my spices are in. And I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of yogurt. Now this is yogurt I've made myself, Greek. You could put in your own stuff. And I'm just going to give that a little whiz round. And there, good people, is the basis of our, and I'm just going to give that a taste while I'm there actually. Just have a taste. Because, important, as I said before, seasoning. Get it in layers. A bit more seasoning in there. Because the rice is bland. So what I'm actually going to do now that's just turned down. I'm just going to leave that for a second or so. And I think, to be fair, we're pretty much good to go with the rice. So I'm just going to watch that. Just going to get it up to, so I know it's, basically what I'm doing is put the rice in and this is going to heat through the sauce. So like I said, I didn't want it vigorously going, too much heat on there. But I do want it up to temperature because I want, basically the idea with rice, once you put it in and you've got to heat it through, that's really important with rice. And I don't want to stir it too much because the more I stir it around in a liquid, the chances are it's going to break up, which we don't want. So, if we get it as hot as it can be to start with, like I said, I didn't want it like for soupies, and especially when you put your yogurt in, you don't want to split anything. So that's looking, yep, that's getting there, that's good. So all the rice is going in, full lot. So this is 500 grams of rice that I've cooked. So 500 grams actually of raw rice, and then that's being cooked down. So it's an awful lot, I know. And all we're going to do now is we're just going to stir that through and give it, like I say, a chance to break up and a chance to heat up. So with it being cold, it won't and it shouldn't get to what's the word? It shouldn't clump. It should break up nicely in there. So that's all we want. So this is our biryani on its way. Well, I'm going to turn that up a little bit now because obviously it's cold. Now we've got the cold rice in there, and we just want to start heating that through. It's going to take a little time, but don't worry about that. We're all good. Let's get rid of our mess. Now whilst that is heating up, and obviously we really need to bring that up to temperature, I've got about a quarter of a cup of frozen peas. I'm just going to get some of those in as well. Just a bit of colour. If you don't like peas, don't put them in. If you don't like peas, whack them in there. And this is our biryani doing its thing. Smelling lovely, by the way. So I'm gently doing it. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just gently moving it through. And if I see any crumbs of rice, like I just give them a little break, just so they go up. But in the main, they're all breaking up nicely. Sometimes, you know, like I say, when you're cooking a lot of rice like that, it can have a tendency to compress together. So yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. Anytime you cook rice, normally at the end you're always fluffing the rice up. You're just making it nice and fluffy, just breaking the grains up. Well, that's doing its thing. We're just waiting for that to steam up now. Couple of things to finish. So one of the things I said earlier in the recipe, the called for fried onions. So I fried some onions up. But equally, you think they look a little bit dark, don't worry about it. I'll tell you why. Because you want the sweetness, but also a little bit of bitterness from the onion to cut through the dish, just to give it a little bit of contrast with the flavours. Because as I was saying before, I made a little bit of a mess there. I'll tell you what, I'm going to use this. Come in handy, these little door scrapers, even for cleaning mess. Right, get rid of that. Yeah, in your experience when you're tasting food, you're looking for all your kind of taste receptors to fire. So you want your salt ones to fire, some of your sweet ones, your bitter, and you know it's sour ones, and that gives you kind of the full mouth experience, which is good, which we like. So this is, as you see, starting to steam a little bit there. I'm just giving it its thing, time to do its own thing. I'll turn that back up again. See, that's why I've used a big pan. It is a big pan. And by the way, this is the first time I've done this recipe, so just in case you're saying, why is he reading that? It's the first time I've done it. I've always fancied doing it, and we really do like biryanis. But that's heating up there. Like I said, I'm a bit of a tactile cook, so one of the things I'll do, I'll just put the back of my finger in and say, how hot is that getting? Now, with it being rice, just make sure it's steaming and make sure it's hot. But up to now, that's looking alright. It's looking fairly good. Not too long, it's starting to smell really, really aromatic, really nice. So, a couple of things to finish as well. So while that's doing that, I've got a couple of tablespoons of milk, and into it I've put a small pinch of saffron, which is actually an authentic part of a biryani. So I'm going to put that in now. Just while it's not far away from being fully heated up. So I'm just going to pour that in there, the milk. And you think milk in? Yes, get it in there. Sometimes you just got to go with it. It's part of the thing, you never know until you try it here. So, here we go. So I think I'm actually going to, because it's so big this pan, I think I'm going to serve it in the pan. Now I'm looking at it steaming, but is it hot? So let's just, all I'm going to do is put my spoon in it, yeah, and with the back of my, touch the back of my lip with my spoon. And it's warm, but it's certainly not hot enough yet. So let's just let's just give it another couple of minutes in there and see where we go. But like I say, sometimes sometimes it just takes as long as it takes. So as much as you want to rush things on. See, I'm stirring it around just to, with it being a big pan, trying to distribute it without being too, too aggressive with it. Like I said, we don't want to break it. But it's smelling nice, and if I keep it in the pan, that would be good as well. But as we know, it's just par for the course. Just tidy your mess up, Jason. Stop whinging. I know you lot. I know. Here we go. Now that's looking more like it there. That's really looking more like it. So let's just try that again. Yeah, that's getting there now. That's certainly getting there. So, there we are. So, like I said, I'm going to serve it with the sauce that I've made. So this is a madras. So I'm just going to put that. It hasn't been cooked long. And like I say, I can do that at a later time. I'm just going to put that on to reheat now. And we're pretty much good to go. So I'm toying with the idea whether it's probably, you know what, I think I might split it because there's a lot there. I think it's the recipes for 4 people. And to save, so I can have some leftovers, to be fair, I'll probably serve it in a pot which is big enough for the 2 of us. So I'm going to finish it off with some coriander, and I'll probably do that separate because coriander doesn't reheat as well. And I'll top it with the fried onions. So basically, like I say, that's our biryani is done. I'm happy with that. I'll took the temperature, which is just what we want. And now I've tasted it, final taste, and wants a touch more salt. And I don't think this is, I've given it a good 3-finger pinch there, a good 3-finger pinch. I don't think it's actually authentic, but I just think it would be nice to give it a little squeeze of lemon in there, which I'm going to do before serving. Lemon's always the last thing, and the reason it's the last thing, it's like a finishing thing of lemon. You don't want to put it in and cook it away. You want it to be like a last thing, which is good. So, biryani done. Chicken biryani. We've got our sauce on the go. I'm going to serve that up and get our tea done. So, thick biryani. It's tasting nice. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm sure with the sauce it's going to be great. So that's it for now. All done. Bye for now.